of April. Today's edition, we are going to look at the bishop calls for fair election process, and we're also going to look at succession and stability, decoding President Paul Biya's message, where President Paul Biya, over the past few days, have been tweeting and posting messages on his official handle talking about the issue of succession and election. We shall be looking at that, decoding what he actually meant as far as some of his messages are concerned, with the recent one which he said succession is not a project. Our past, present, and future sing the chorus of unity and call on us to permanently strengthen our national community. With this, many people have had their different interpretation as far as this is concerned. We are counting May, June, July, August, September to the 2025 presidential election. So if you see, we have about 5 months plus for the election of the 2025 presidential election, which is a much anticipated election, an election that seemed to be one of the crucial as far as the history of Cameroon is concerned, with opposition parties and independent aspirants announcing their candidacy. Yet officially, the public will be notified as to when electors will be called and the submission of the different files for those who are vying to be the president of the Republic of Cameroon. With this in mind, we shall be discussing also some of the recent happening across the week, that those things that actually made news across the week on the program House of Commons. If you are just joining us, you're welcome to the program, and we shall be right back after this jingle. Welcome. If you are just joining us, you're watching House of Commons. We'll begin the program by giving you a summary as to what the bishops had actually asked for. But before then, I introduce my guest. In the studio, we have Mr. Suli from the Social Democratic Front, SDF in Kumba. Welcome, sir, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Javis. I'm greeting our favorite listeners outside there. Let them comport themselves and get ready to hear what we are going to say. So I think on prime hour this afternoon.
Thank you very much. How is the people of Kumba?
No, you know, my boy, my guys are good. They are very nice people, good people, and a luta continua and Victoria Isata.
Thank you very much. Also in the studio, we are joined by a panelist here with us. It is Yaya Emmanuel, who is a member of the civil society. And happy Sunday, and thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, as you say. Thank you, Javis, dear panelists, fellow listeners. Good afternoon. It's another day to talk about Cameroon, and I want to first of all start by acknowledging that there's something recent that passed on state media, and I think many people saw it as jubilation, but it actually had to take us back to what happened. On the 4th of April, the President of the Republic compensated and appointed CRTV journalists to posts of responsibilities. Took some to higher posts of responsibilities, and we all know that the 4th of April in Cameroon is a day. That particular president, we know what happened 4th of April 1984. So I am saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nothing happens for nothing. So he took that particular moment, which means that in Cameroon, as the president has always reacted, he reacts according to events and dates, and which means that date to him matters a lot.
Maybe it's just coincided with the...
you call it a coincidence, but I think it's a planned act, because nothing happens for nothing. Okay. He actually appointed people because it is on that day that journalists in Cameroon saved him from the coup d'etat. We should know the CRTV, and I was thinking that in that respect, the president should have looked at those journalists who actually did those time in those days, who actually gave him. He should have compensated them or celebrated them.
There's something we call frontline diplomacy and offline diplomacy. So within the issue of political landscape, yes, some things, everything is brought to the surface for to avoid unambiguous explanation and to create also political division across the nation. Some may start pointing fingers, why this one, why not this one. Sometimes it's done off the curtain.
Akeba book, when I think, good, what you're saying is true, but I think that when something is done for the nation, it should be broadcasted for the nation. I am not saying that the head of the state did not do something.
You know, the nation also has some things
so
that are kept for national
actually,
security.
I want to, and that's why I want to actually, I was getting to the point to actually talk about my man that I love so much, your colleague, Abenjem Bone, Chief Abenjem, his right hand, Chief Abenjem Bone, who was appointed the editor-in-chief, and then Moki Edwin Kinjeka, and some of those people, I actually think they deserve the position.
Okay.
Again, I want to extend my regards to my father here. I've been seeing him on TV, but I'm happy to meet him today. Sule from Kumba, the K-man.
Okay.
So it's good. We are back today. Dear panelists, listeners, happy Sunday once more. And today is another good day to talk about Cameroon and how Cameroon is supposed to be.
Okay, in the studio we have Mr. Asia Bertrand, who is a member of the civil society. He has always been here with us. Mr. Asia, happy Sunday and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Javis. It's a pleasure again being part of your wonderful program, most watched program, House of Common, my media. It's a pleasure to take part in this wonderful debate today. I hope we are going to be up to the task for our viewers outside there. I want to also use the opportunity to greet all the panelists that are here this afternoon. And I say, Mr. Javis, this year, 2025, I think it should be a year that Cameroonians should actually prove their patriotism to this nation with regards to what awaits us as concerning the 2025 elections in Cameroon. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you so very much for inviting me.
Okay, in the studio we shall also be joined by Prince Kotem, who is the member of the MB3 political party. MB3 is a new political party which has just been approved by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, following the laid-down principles that governs the organization and the recognition of political parties in Cameroon. He is also someone that has been very active as far as the political landscape is concerned. Prince Kotem, happy Sunday and thanks for joining us.
Happy Sunday, my brother, Mr. Tah Mai. Happy Sunday to my fellow panelists. I see, when I look at them, I see very rich faces that I believe we're going to do a lot. Happy Sunday to all the Balikumbat people out there. Just want to take this moment to remind you that today is our come together at the Funds Palace, then Yaoundé, so everybody receive royal blessings from well, not from me, from His Royal Highness Fondo Ganyanyu, the 3rd of Balikumbat, and we expect to see all of you. And equally, as we prepare for the Zone 5 installation in the Grand North, we are inviting everyone, all the sons and daughters of Balikumbat in the Grand North of the Balikumbat Bado Zone 5 to be able to mobilize so that together we can cherish our culture. Mr. Tah Mai, thank you so much. I'm happy to be on your panel today.
Also, thank you very much. And we'll begin the program by taking you to the outline of the bishops of Cameroon, the Episcopal National Episcopal Conference, which published a letter that was last week, and which in the letter they articulated, they addressed the upcoming presidential election and raised about 10 points as far as that is concerned. And we shall be looking at that, which is captioned the fair election, that where we actually get a topic, fair election 2025 bishops concerned and public response. The public actually responded and in diverse means. But what are some of the issues through the bishops' outing? The bishops' outing outlined one that, among other attributes, emphasized that leader should be able to travel across the entire country, ensuring each region is visited at least once during their term. From the aforementioned homily emerge the following qualities which are required for anyone who wishes to govern our country, Cameroon. The first, in which the bishops actually articulated, is integrity, humility, modesty, and moral leadership. That is, the bishop says, demonstrate integrity, honesty, and transparency in his action and decision and conduct, setting an example in matters of ethics and responsibility. The bishops talked about humble and modest, recognize the limit of his power and the errors, and the limit of his power and the errors he may commit, free from any conflict of interest, and not ensuring and not using his power to enrich himself personally or exploit his people. The second point the bishop articulated, vision and strategy. On that, the bishop said, have a very clear vision for the country's development, be able to define a coherent strategy to achieve it, be able to mobilize the population around this vision, be a leader who inspires confidence and knows how to take difficult decisions. The third point the bishop articulated is the effective economic management, being able to manage the economy wisely, promoting economic growth, job creation, poverty reduction, promoting transparency in the management of public resources. Francis, good politics is at the service of peace, according to Pope Francis' homily, which he articulated in, that is, homily of 16th of September 2023 at Casmar. The fourth point the bishop brought was consolidating national cohesion, work for national unity and cohesion by curbing ethnic and regional tension and ensuring fair representation of all regions, be a protagonist in national reconciliation and unity, have a good knowledge of the country, its regions, culture and people, be able of traveling the length and the breadth of the country, visiting each region at least once during this term of office, be able to understand the needs and the expectations of Cameroonians. The fifth point was the ability to listen and engage in dialogue, ability to listen to the various stakeholders in civil society, political parties, trade unions, etc., being open to dialogue and consultation in order to take decisions that meet the expectation of the population, be a tolerant and open-minded person capable of understanding and respecting the differences and diversities that characterize Cameroon. The sixth point was the respect of the rule of law and freedom. Under this, the bishop says guaranteeing respect for and promotion of the rule of law, fundamental freedom and human rights, ensuring the independence and effective functioning of democratic institutions, ensuring that the voices of all communities are heard, respect for the institutions of the state such as parliamentary, the judiciary, etc. He must also respect the law and regulations in force, with particular references to the Constitution. The seventh point was the fight against corruption, firmly tackling corruption at all levels of public administration by putting in place effective control and sanctions mechanism without discrimination or targeting. The eighth point the bishop raised was crisis management skills, ability to manage crisis and conflict in highly professional manner, taking rapid and appropriate decisions to protect the interests of the country and its people. The ninth point the bishops raised was improve public services, commit to improving the quality of public services such as health, education, infrastructure, with a focus on ensuring equity and accessibility to all citizens. The last point the bishops raised during their national episcopal letter was diplomacy and international relations, the ability to represent Cameroon with dignity of the international stage by maintaining beneficiary cooperative relationships with other countries, have the relevant competence and experience in fields such as politics, diplomacy, just to name but these. These were some of the points raised by the bishops of Cameroon during their meeting at the National Episcopal Conference in view of the upcoming presidential election, in which they said that a presidential candidate or those aspiring to be president of Cameroon must ensure that at least they move across the nation, the 10 regions of the nation, in one mandate. The question is, how has that been? Is that a signature that the current administration is not doing it, or seemingly those who need to do it more effective? In the studio, we have a cream of panelists who are going to analyze this, to look at some of the reactions as far as the bishops are concerned. And also, we shall also be looking at the President of the Republic outing as far as succession is concerned. I begin with you, Mr. Suleiman, SDF of the Social Democratic Front in Kumba. You have listened to some of the points raised by the bishops. What is your reaction?
Yeah, the points are wide and varied. You see, but let's go for integrity and dignity first. A president is supposed to set example for people to follow. If the president does not set example people to follow. He is a leader. A president of the republic is a leader, and he has an example for people to follow. He is not a dictator. He's not authoritarian. So I think the bishops have come to understand that there are so many things militating against the speedy growth and development of this country, the speedy growth of prosperity and progress of this country, and the advancement of this country. One, tribalism. Tribalism is one. If you look at our system today in this country, tribalism has taken the order of the day. If you look at the military, you look at the gendarme, you look at the police, all. They're either south or center. If you look even the ministers we have today, South region is just a smaller created region, but it has a lot of ministers more than other regions. Because of what? Because the president is coming from that tribe. You see? So what we are saying is that if they want to be transparency, rationality, flexibility in administration, as the bishop says, they have to balance the equation. You are not supposed to hang on something that only people are enjoying. If you look at the ministers, if you look at the governors, you look at the SDOs, you look at the DOs, you look even the ambassadors, all is dominated by this very particular people from center and south region.
Are you not preaching divide now? And
that is why you see it's annoying even the bishops. It's even annoying the bishops. Look at poverty, look at hunger, look at fraud, embezzlement, capital flight, mismanagement, misappropriation. Is order of the day. Capital flight. You see, people are suffering in this country. The downtrodden masses, the underprivileged majority are suffering too much. People go to hospital, they cannot even pay for their prescription drugs. They are left to die as a beast of burden because they don't have anywhere to get the money. Things are so expensive beyond the reach of a common man. So what we are saying, what the bishops, you see, the bishops are talking now because the last hope of the common man is the church. The common man believes that is a church that can speak now on behalf of the people. And that's why you see the church is speaking now in order to promote and protect the overall interests of the common man. Because if the church fails, then everything has failed in this country. We don't have nowhere to go again. Because that's also the people who are supposed to protect and promote our interests. And if they fail, then we are doomed for life. So what we are saying is that integrity, dignity, fraud, capital flight, embezzlement, it's the order of the day in this country. A small man will come today, he has got a house, he has got a car. The whole thing, everybody is just selfish interest. Everybody is just fighting for his interest. But what I'm telling you is that I thank the bishops for what they have done. They have done their best. They have spoken. So if anything happens again after this, then I think we don't have nobody to hold.
The bishop also called on the people to register massively ahead of the election. But when you look at the pace of registration, are you satisfied?
No, because if I go by the statement of Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, he said when he was addressing his nation, he said he went on his coup d'etat is progressive revolution and not dictatorial democracy. It's what he said. He said my coup is progressive revolution and not dictatorial democracy. So which means that he is out to promote and protect the interests of downtrodden masses and the underprivileged majority. He's there to provide them. What was absent is what he's giving them. So what we are seeing is that calm down. People are suffering in this country. People are suffering. They don't have food.
But is that not why they should go and register to
register how? Look, let me tell you.
Your party will go for election, eh?
My party is going for election already, but we know it's a futile effort. It's an effort in futility because as far as the Almighty Electoral is there, the Almighty Constitutional Council is there. There's nothing we can do.
But when you say there's nothing we can do, personally. The SDF has been able to win some elections in Kumba and some councils.
No.
How did they do it?
It's only now that the CPDM has won election for the past 30 years. SDF has controlled the council.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that the SDF has been able to win.
And CPDM won this time because they came and shot their guns and
but you say you are talking about the issue about the futility, which means that for the past let's take 7 years ago, SDF won.
Mr. Javis, let me tell you something.
So how did they win it?
If you want free and fair election, if you want rational election, transparent election, let the stakes be changed. Look, Biya appointed the Constitution Drafting Committee members headed by the late Joseph Owona. They drove the Constitution, gave him the term of office, 7-year renewable once.
Voted by the Parliament, eh?
Voted by the Parliament.
So and he was the Parliament that mandated. The Parliament that gave him
he signed it into law.
Yeah, but by the Parliament.
The Parliament, but the Parliament was all CPDM.
Now
They
my-
don't nothing, understand nothing but we d'accord.
Pa, my
Say,
question,
that's all.
my question is, you raised the issue that the Constitutional Council and the Elecam may not be transparent enough for the elections.
They are not
and
transparent.
That's effort in futility. So my question is, 7 years ago, 14 years ago, the SDF has been winning councils in Kumba.
I know.
Even till now, I'm sure SDF has a council.
No,
in
we don't have no council
Okay,
now.
now let's go back to the last statistics. How did SDF win this council? With the same appointed members of Elecam appointed by President Paul Biya, with the same President Paul Biya that appointed all the senior divisional.
SDF, I agree
How
with you.
did SDF win
I
it?
agree what you are saying, but let me tell you, why is it that when the council session is sitting, the SDO is doing what?
Yeah, but that.
So the mayor is not competent to handle the matter, or the councillors are not competent to handle the case. Then the mayor, the SDO will see the whip, see we teleguiding what they're doing.
That should not be an amendment. Which if the people going for election and vote, they can
at the
actually vote their members.
even at the regional level, look at the constitutional, the governor is just sitting.
Yeah, that's why we are saying that. That's why we are saying that is it not because the masses of Cameroonian masses have refused to turn out massively to vote?
What?
Like you see when SDF won, it's
I
because
told
people
you,
turn out
voting
massively
in
and
this
voted.
country is an effort
voted.
of futility, and they use your identity card and your decision to for the government, and not even for the government.
Okay. Let me just briefly move to other members of parliament. Now, SDF has some members of parliament for this last election that conducted. How did they win the seat? 2020. How did they win it?
SDF.
Yes, has some members of parliament. If you say voting is an effort of
No,
futility,
what I'm
were
telling
they-
you,
are you saying
no,
that
what
they
I'm
were
telling you is
compensated,
that
they did not win it?
if you're a minority in parliament, if you're a minority in the Senate, it's an effort of futility because the CPDM parliamentarians, they know nothing and understand nothing. Only we that call yes sir. What the chairman has said, nobody can challenge it. But you, as SDF minority, what will you say? You have to keep quiet.
Okay, your reaction to the bishop's outing.
Thank you very much. I think let me just throw a sentence to what Mr. Sule was saying. I think from what I understood from him, he's saying that elections in Cameroon, with respect to the SDF winning, is a futile mission when it comes to presidential elections. I think that's why, because he cannot say it's a futile mission when we have seen SDF controlling councils and so on.
Yeah, we have seen SDF
Even
controlling
Noni
council.
council has been controlled by SDF. Noni, where I'm confirmed. So they have won, being organized by Minad in those days.
O'Neill,
and now Electoral.
Electoral.
So I put it there. Now, with respect to the bishop's outing, it's something I think we spoke about it some time ago. I don't see why. I am still waiting to see that particular government official who will step ahead and criticize the bishops for putting out their mindset, because before I delve into my analysis, the bishops are talking to Christians who are at the same time militants of the various political parties. Militants who are at the same time citizens who are supposed to do the right thing, respecting the law in all ramifications. Now, with the bishop's outing, what prompted it? The first thing is, the bishop's outing is acting with the space they are looking at. They are covering the space, the vacuum that has been left by the government. The vacuum in which way? The Electoral Code, Article 80 says the electoral list is to be published before 30th of December. We're just coming from 30th December, where the Electoral Code wasn't published. People went up and down, spoke about it, but they said, what the Elecam said was, the system was hacked.
Mm-hmm.
How was the system? If the system of Electoral was hacked, have they corrected it? Have they retrieved it? Have they done the renovations to prove to the public, to show the public that it is? And that's why you see the bishops outing coming out now. The bishops started individually because it is the last man, like Mr. Sule said, it is the last man. You know, with Africans, we are religiously intoxicated. When you are hanged somewhere, when you are hooked to somewhere, the only place you go to is the church, is the mosque. I don't forget my African traditional religion. You can go to your shrine. You understand? And that's why when you look at all these type of things, you just don't ask me if African traditional religious authorities have also come out.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
You're asking me. They have said we will come to that. So you look at the bishops have come out to clear because they've noticed a vacuum left by the government. Because if the government, by will or by subordination, by will or by negligence, cannot fill that, are not able to fill the gap, that is where the bishops are coming in. The second point, there's another point with the judiciary. I still go back to the government. The space, the judiciary, the bishops have felt it that when you look at the letter, look into the spirit of the writing. I'm not going back to enumerate the 10 abilities of whatever they say.
The spirit
but
behind
look
the
at the
letter.
spirit. What prompted the intention? What is, because before there is an effect, there's a cause. The cause of this because the Cameroon judiciary is not taking its stand. It's not taking its responsibility into their hands. It means that if the president of the republic does not ask the constitutional council to sit, they will not sit. If the president of the republic, or if the president of the republic, if the constitutional council is sitting as per the constitution is sitting, and if the president of the republic does not give, from what we've seen, does not give the agenda, they're not going to deliberate. Because if these are some of the things that, because I am saying so with the respect of the Electoral, the other political party took the issue of the publication of results to the Constitutional Council. What did they say? It is not within their competence. They took it to the Court of Appeal, which is as specified by the Electoral Code. What did they say? It is not within their competence. It is the Electoral. How can you report your boss to your boss? How can you report your boss? Which means that the MRC, for example, who took the issue of Electoral to the Constitutional Council, to the Appeal Court, they're supposed to go to Electoral and say that people are doing wrong. And if Electoral, who are the boss to tell them what we are doing is right, and whereas the Electoral Code says that they are supposed to publish the list of all the registered members on the 30th of December. We are in the month of March and elections are due in October. But the month of April already. So who is to be blamed? You see, and that's why the
6 months to election.
The bishops have seen this, and if there's a publication, it should be done after the presidential elections, which means that those who are preparing now for the elections of 2026, municipal and legislative, is that what they are supposed to do? The bishops we're looking at all these parameters, all these things, think that if they don't guide the Christians who are militant, who are citizens, who are supposed to do the right thing, follow the rules and regulations of the law, Cameroon is a state of law, then we are nowhere. We are not advancing on our democracy. Our democracy entails responsibility, justifications, accountability. And that is why we encourage our state authorities to do what is necessary. Follow the rules and regulations, follow the constitutions, follow the principles guiding the various institutions. Cameroon now needs, I don't know. We are going to talk about it later. We need, with the bishop's outing, I'm not going to enumerate what we've already seen. Right? If you look at the article, like point 6 of the bishop's outing, they talked about the rule of law and that has to be respected.
Yeah.
Where does the rule of law start from and where is it to be respected? We have cried out that anybody in government, be it elected or appointed, should come out, follow Article 66. We are not inventing. Come out, declare what you have once you are entered into office and what you go out. But the president is not implementing it. Who do we blame?
They say that the president has not signed the text of application.
The text of application. Are we the one to sign it? Are we the one to sign it?
Maybe the matter has not arrived at the president's desk.
Which means that, and that's why it takes
since 1996.
It takes me directly to the House of Assembly. Who are those people who are supposed? They are there to vote laws.
Maybe the person that was supposed to carry the fight to the president's desk is still working on it.
I don't know about that one. But who are those who are supposed to vote laws? The laws have not been respected. We even talked about responsibility and accountability. We see year in, year out, our MPs, they go to the National Assembly, they defend budget, how to execute the minister and everybody. But they don't come back to tell us that this is what was done with the money given to us in the various ministries. We don't see that. How is the law being respected? We have a lot, and we are not saying this because we think that we are in the spirit of criticism. We simply want Cameroon where the law, as prescribed by the text. Institutions should be respected, should be guided. We want, it's Cameroon, the state of law that will make people powerful, and not powerful people that will make powerful institutions.
Okay.
That's where we are missing in Cameroon, because we think that in Cameroon it's a powerful person that will make an institution powerful. No, the Constitutional Council is a powerful institution because the laws of the constitution are being respected. The laws governing the National Assembly are being respected from the first to the latter, and that's why we're crying. The bishops, in their claim, in fact, they have enumerated a lot of things, and that's just a summary of every humility the bishop, any bishop, the 25 bishops in Cameroon. That's just a summary of everything. The humility, the bishop stand on the pulpit. I'm talking to Monsignor George Kwo, who is there in Combo, listening to me.
Yes.
He has been somebody, and Andrew Care, they have stood the ground.
Yeah.
They have spoken. But the bishop of Yaoundé, the bishop of Douala, Samuel Clinton, they have spoken, and the one, not leaving out the one of Magua. Please, dear Cameroonians, we should listen. No politician should come and deceive you that what the bishop is saying is wrong.
Okay.
What the bishop is saying, because the bishops are talking to you, the same thing the politician will turn around and call it to present to you. But the bishops are not out for radicalization. They are the moral authority of the state. And
Okay.
that's why the state has accepted church to rule. If the state can permit various religious institutions to roll, to function in Cameroon, they have to listen to the beginning. It is of the interest of the state. That's why they are there. And we have ministers or many people, politicians, who have sponsored the constructions of churches.
We'll be coming back to you. Let me get to Mr. Asia. Mr. Asia, the bishop's outing. You are a Roman Catholic Christian.
Yes, of course.
The bishop outing, did it take you by surprise, or some of the points raised there, is it coming too late?
Mr. Javis, I will say it has come too late, but it is often said it's better late than never. You want to understand with me that Cameroon has been ruled by the same political party for over 40 years. And therefore, Cameroon has gotten the Catholic Church for over 40 years. And we have gotten bishops for this length of time. Some of these bishops, they were even classmates with the present president. So when I say they have come late, it means they knew all these things quite ahead of time. These points that you have made mention of, you see, the church like that is very political. And there is what we call in church political maturity. That is why when a pope is not there, you see, they will elect a new pope without any problem.
Yeah.
Because there is maturity there. This indication that bishops have come up, they come where a country is politically matured. Because we see Cameroon has political immaturity, and the indications are there. Tribalism is an indication of political immaturity. Investment is an indication of political immaturity. When you see that the institutions that are put in place, they are still controlled by the head of state, it means there is political immaturity. And that is why I am saying that when you see the other political parties that they are coming up, it's still indications of political immaturity. Because at this time, Cameroon does not need political parties again. If people are still coming in now again, that they are coming up with a new political party, I begin to ask myself, where are we heading to? Because Cameroon needs what we call a change. And that's why I started by telling you, Mr. Javis, that the bishops have done what they are supposed to do. It is late, but I have said it's better late than never. And these are the points that I feel it should not end with this point that they have given. To me, I still feel the bishops should go more than this. Because if we say things, because somebody has said somewhere, that if you want good discussion, go to Cameroon. You hear people, they will talk very well, but to put it in practice, it becomes a problem. Now, if they bring these indications, but we know all those things that are blocking free and fair elections in Cameroon, if we can bring this indication, and we know that Electoral is still controlled by those who are controlling it, the Constitutional Council is still controlled by those who are controlling it. Mr. Javis, where are we heading to? I don't think it was just like throwing water on a desk back. Therefore, to me, I feel they should go more than this, and we should come into a consensus that the political landscape in Cameroon should be transparent. Therefore, meaning that maybe we'll come to a single ballot paper that elections in Cameroon, everybody knows that I have voted for this person, and there will be no way to say that we'll have result that will be tampered with. For example, SDF has, like my brother was saying here, SDF tried it. We know what happened with Nijon Fundi. And many people are still criticizing, and that's why some people today are saying that some of the politicians in Cameroon are like working in harmony with the government, because some politicians have taken upon themselves that at the time that we need them very, very much, they scare away. How can you tell us that people rally behind you, and on the eve of an election in Cameroon, you say that you are not going in for that election? That is a wonderful betrayal. That is a betrayal to the Cameroon people. So the letter of the bishop, want to congratulate the bishops very well. I use this opportunity to also salute the bishop of my diocese of origin, Bishop Michael Bibi, and Bishop Kea of the Bamenda Archdiocese, and all the other bishops. I want to say the bishops in Cameroon, some even said it was better that this power of this country should be taken and given to a devil, and after we'll see how to treat the devil. So for
that was so harsh.
No.
That was so harsh.
It was so harsh.
You can interpret it anyhow, but that was on Republican.
No.
Not Republican.
We are saying that it is just like they too feel that we need a change in this country.
But they could have.
Therefore, the bishop, their letter is just saying that the bishop, what they have brought out in their letter is just telling us that we Cameroonians should be politically matured.
But 60% of Cameroonian Christians are Roman Catholic Christians.
Yes.
If you look at the provision in terms of the percentage of members of government, a good number are Roman Catholic Christians. Now, for 43 years or 40 years or so, you say we have been riding in this system. What have been the message within the church, and what have been also the message when these same people come for confession? What have been the message? Because if for years we have been within this system, does it mean that they have somehow slumbered or somehow not actually taking their effective responsibility? Because
Javis, can I say something?
The leaders are within the church. They attend masses, they sit in front rows, they're invited. They sit with them in the bishop's house. They talk with them. They discuss with them, and we are still back on the same page. What are we not understanding here?
You see something. My brother said something very interesting there. That some of these churches that we see, it returns to these ministers that these churches are constructed. They do a lot when it concerns the life of the church. And I want to believe that there is what we call within the Catholic Church penance, where you go for confession, they give you penance, you go and sit. I feel the bishops are tired of the same confessions. And that is why they have decided that instead of saying every day you come and say, I have embezzled 2 billion, I have embezzled this, and they give you penance, and then you go, you don't change. It's better now we tell you that we need rulers that will have qualities that will move around the country and see the well-being of Cameroonians. I think it is one of the things that has pushed the bishop to say, no, enough is enough. We are tired of hearing the same confession time and time and again.
And Mr. Tabi, let me come to this point now.
Briefly,
The Catholics are disunited. They are not united.
No, but their communications are united now.
They are not united. Let me come. They are not united. They are not united. Because when you see them, I mean the bishops. You ask about the college or the bishops?
The bishops. I said because the church, all the leaders, 60% of them are in the church.
You don't talk about bishops. You talk about the church.
The church.
Are we talking about the church, not the bishop? The bishops are united. I don't criticize that, but the church of the Catholics in the church that they are not united. For example, just recently, the Pope asked the President of the Republic, "Who am I going to appoint the cardinal to replace late cardinal?"
That has not been an official. Those are not official statements. The Pope cannot do that. The Pope cannot do that. Probably those informations are not authentic sources.
Are you sure?
Yes, yes, I am within the church.
But also, it is said there is no smoke without fire.
Yes.
So,
Yes, you know, the
There's
issue
no
is,
smoke without
I agree, but those are
When I
just,
saw three people,
those are rumors.
Three people's name has been projected.
No, but those are
Biya,
rumors.
and
Personally, those are just rumors.
Okay, go ahead.
We have
there can be no smoke without fire.
Whether you say in Cameroon there are some smoke without fire.
Okay.
Nothing is in the person never Cameroon. Yes, no, the person never Cameroon. No, it's they because that process cannot be done. There's what we call it. We have the consultative board that always meet, and the National Episcopal Conference within themselves meet. We have also the Apostolic Council that always sit together.
Yes.
It is these people that sit and give suggestions to the bishops, because the Roman Catholic Church is a semi-autonomous state. So it has its own system which cannot. The truth is, that cannot be done that way.
Okay, continue.
Catholicism has
reaction with the outing of the bishops.
very much.
Mr. Tah Mai, thank you so much. You know, I think it's over 8 years, day in, day out, that I'm on this panel, and we've been talking very important issues that concerns the country. We talk about the country of our generation, and at a point in time, I'm beginning to feel like we're in a Njangi house, but I know very well that you'll be able to handle all this, and we'll keep going forward. Of course, like you introduced from your introduction, I am of the movement for patriotism and people prosperity, and it's a youth-led political party from young people with track records. Of course, we did not just jump into politics, but we have a very good track record as to the political landscape of Cameroon, actively participating. Of course, myself, you have the track record like most Cameroonians out there. From the time of the student government as student president, running, supporting a candidate in 2018 presidential election, and after which we came up as young people, owing to the fact that that candidate was a member of the civil society, and after the election he left the scene, and we came up as young people with the burning desire, burning ambition to change our country, to see the change that we want, knowing very well that we've been in bondage for the last 40 years, 43 years and plus going now. We understood that this is our time, like the Nelson Mandela took it at that time, like the Thomas Sankara took it at that time. We thought that it is our own time, like the Joma fighter taking it, they took it at that time. We thought that it is, we also have to do that, because if we say Cameroon is the country of the indomitable lions, Cameroon is Africa in miniature, it means if they can do it in other places, we can do it. That is how we came up, put our ideas together, our ideologies, and we actually created the movement for patriotism and people's prosperity with the ideology of the Afro-social liberalism, which therefore, in other words, means that we have seen how we can inculcate our African culture in a governance system. In other words, you may want to call it Pan-Africanism, and we started selling this. We applied to register for this political party in 2018, hoping to run for the twin elections in 2020, which we were not legalized, and we finally legalized in 2023 on the 9th of November. Having waited patiently for 5 years, nourishing our idea, knowing that it was not going to die, because we believe in it as young people, we're going to sell it and move forward. The fate came to pass, and the 9th, the party was legalized. It was not legalized because they're legalizing thousands of parties in Cameroon, but it's because we have an ideology that we want to sell, and nothing determines that is the 10 or 300 first parties that were created is going to lead Cameroon forward. Nothing has ever said that. But we believe in the fact that we should be able to sell our idea, because we don't believe in a party of personality. We don't believe in personality cult. We believe in selling of ideologies. And that is how the MP3 came into existence. And we've been selling our ideology, putting things in place on the ground. Of course, building our strongholds at the local level. Now, the bishops, the MP3 has its ideology, Afro-social liberalism, but we have never ceased to, of course, recognize the fact that Cameroon is a laïc state, and it's going to continue. That is why we appreciate the outings of the bishops, and if you go by their first point, they talks about mobility. This mobility ties with them most, you know. When they look at the candidate, they say the candidate the aspiring candidate should be able to look at some of these conditions, and one of them is mobility. I think that ties with them most because the bishops are, if not the ones, one of the few Cameroonians that visit all the localities, to the subdivisions, to the suburbs of their countries. That we cannot refuse. It means that they have a mastery of what they are talking about when it talks about mobility, because mobility means that you'll be able to get to know the ordinary Cameroonian in Balikumbat, in Furawa, in Ekondo Titi, in Moyoka, right, Yoke, or you'll be able to know them. I mean, going right down to those places, and when you meet those Cameroonians, you'll be able to appreciate. If you want to embezzle 1 franc, you think about that suffering mama who has worked 10 hectares of banana in Bolongo, in Moyoka, and cannot take it to the market in Munya. You'll be able to understand it will judge your conscience. That is a very good IOC for the at this point. But when they talk about vision, it's like they saw the MP3 in front of them, because MP3, when it was created, we have a vision which was inculcated in our memorandum, and this memorandum has been reduced, where the ordinary Cameroonian can be able to understand the program, the political program of MP3, the vision, and that vision has been reduced into 12 key points, known as the 12 key points to unleash the potentials of Cameroon from 2025 onward. Should the Cameroonian people be able to give us that confidence, because these 12 key points are those that reflects the aspirations of the Cameroonian people. And going by that vision, they did talk about the fact of effective economic management. You know, Mr. Tah Mai, to effectively manage your economy, you must first of all start by tackling some areas, and one of those areas are corruption. There's no way you want to talk about economic management without tackling corruption. I think we should start with corruption, and the MP3 has looked at a very particular way where the corruption in this country, the bishop, Mr. Tah Mai, we should not.
You are changing the debate.
Please. When people were talking, I don't understand. Okay, no, the bishops were not talking to birds, to animals. We're talking to people who are aspiring. MP3 is aspiring. I don't know if it's not personal issue here. We should take it very straight. No, the MP3 is aspiring, and what they are asking of those people is what I'm telling you that the MP3 has. So I don't see why we should have a problem here. No, the MP3, they talk about vision. The MP3 has a vision that has been reduced in 12 points. They talk about corruption management. The MP3 has put how we should manage this corruption, and we think that the corruption comes first from the fact that we have a very huge government that is not serving of any purpose. We are talking about a 63 or 65 government members. How does it serve us? And MP3 in his first points, 12 key points, the first one talks about no more waste of our money, where we are going to reduce the government members from 60 something to 20. There are so many of these visions that tie with what the bishops are saying. But we're going to say, I want to say that the MP3 really recognizes what the bishops are saying, and is telling the bishops that from all of them from Cameroon, that the MP3 is feeding so far from what you're saying. You have the 12 points, and going forward, we have the 12 points here that we are going forward. And one thing that they make mention that was very important that I want to reiterate is the fact of voters registration. The fact of, I hear a lot of people talking about Cameroon saying that people have been going in, going out, politicians have been mixing their heads going, no. As politicians, I don't know, but of our own generation, we've been able to analyze a whole lot of things, and we think that pointing fingers has never solved the solution. It has never brought the solution forward. It's about taking actions, and taking actions means analyzing the data as they are to be able to get to the solution. How do we say? Sometimes it's true. In some cases, like people have proven in 2018, we saw fake electoral observers. There are a lot of these electoral malpractices that are there. But Mr. Tah Mai, we of the MP3 say we should analyze it well. If you have a population of Cameroon about 30 million, it's true that for the last 28 years we've not been able to carry out the census in Cameroon. But for the last time the census was carried, we said Cameroonians were about 27, 28 million. And if
we said we have the result.
Well, the last time the census was yes.
Census results have not come out to date.
So before there, we were talking about 27, 28 million or so. So let's say 20 years after, we are 35 million people in Cameroon, 34 million people in Cameroon.
According to which source?
No, I said let's say no. It's an assumption. That's what I'm saying.
Which means that we are being led by assumption.
It's a reality. We cannot refuse the reality. It's better we stop playing the blame game and face the reality. We cannot refuse the assumption because we are living in the government that under a state that is being ruled by high instructions. So even assumptions are being taken into consideration at times. So let's just go by it. But we won't change. That is why we are handling things the way they are. If Cameroonians, the assumption that we say 28 years ago or 20 years ago were 27 million, let's say after 20 years we have multiplied even by 5 million, so we should be about 33 million, 34 million people. And this is what happened in 2018 election. Let me start with 2018. I don't want to go 2011. 2018 elections, we had 30 million Cameroonians, and of these 30 million Cameroonians, how many millions of them were registered? We had 6 point something million Cameroonians that were registered. How many did vote?
3.7, yeah.
Thank you.
3.7.
People keep talking.
Which is not up to the half of the population of Douala.
Yeah. Mr. Tah Mai, go to 2024 elections are coming, and of what Electoral has declared so far, which we are still waiting for the list, because not the list, we are still waiting for the list. Now we are about 7 point something million going to 8 million registered voters out of 35 point something million or 33 if we want to assume. If we don't want to assume, let's remain at 27, 28.
No, but we can be also dancing according to about 16 or 18 million eligible voters.
Mr. Tah Mai, no problem. But let's come. We will come to the total eligible voters. We're talking about the general population. We have now, let's say, 7 million registered voters. Yes. Registered voters. I did not say general population. I said registered voters. And if we want to go to eligible voters, out of the 30 million that we have for 27, we'll say we can have at least 17 or 16 million of them. In this 17 and 16, or let's say 60 million or 70 million, anyone you want to take, which one should we take? Let's take 17. We have 17 million registered eligible voters. Yes. And in this 17, we have just 7 point, or let's say 8 million people who have registered. In this 8 million, we all know nobody should refuse. We are in a partisan state. Most of the civil servants, not all, majority of the civil servants are of the ruling party. How many civil servants do we have in Cameroon? Put the military inside and everything. Now they have started absorbing even our traditional rulers, where they have been doing so for a particular period of time. And some of these particular rulers have the authority over their citizens or their subjects to an extent where some go to the extent of giving ultimatum to ask them to vote for a particular party. And let's take that for these 7 registered million of something, you have at least, because the ruling party itself, let's not refuse the fact, the ruling party itself has its followers. Its followers that even more than 1 million we cannot refuse. 2 million that are mobilizing, that in every part of Cameroon we should not refuse. Certified followers. Yes, certified followers they do have. And let's say we turn around all these figures and we're about 3 million something of the ruling party, and we have 3 million who has been shared now by the different political parties in place. A political party has 1 million, some has 300,000. And at this level, we see how divided we are. When we are this divided, and Cameroonians who are eligible to vote stay behind and say the ruling party is planning to steal, stay behind to say Electoral is rigging, stay behind to say the Constitutional Council is not playing his job, I said no, you are the first problem. Those who are, you have not gone to register. You are the first problem, because think that we are 17 million eligible voters and we register 16 million. The ruling party has its 3 million or something plus. Do you think they'll be able to triumph over 13 million or 10 million Cameroonians? Electoral itself will not be able to. The Constitutional Council, let the Constitutional Council say no reserve, and we'll see if 10 million Cameroonians storm that place, if they'll be able to say what they want to say. The key, let's stop this blame game and saying this party did not do that, this party did not do this. Let's reunite. That's what will come
the MP3 has always preached unity. The different political parties should come together. It's true that there are different conditions that need to be met for them to come together, but we should see how we can reunite. But why reuniting? Because we can reunite even at the dying minute. What is important is that go and get yourself registered first, and know that the MP3 has a political program that suits the Cameroonian project and Cameroonian development scheme for the next 20 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Personally, I want us to look at this issue about one of the points that the bishops actually raised, because a lot has been said here as far as the issue about integrity, vision is concerned. But the bishops in their point 5 talk about the ability to listen and engage in dialogue, the ability to listen to the various stakeholders, civil society and political union, being open to dialogue and consultation in order to take key decisions that meet the expectation of the people, be tolerant to an open-minded person capable of understanding and representing. Now, when we look at these points that the bishop have raised about the issue about dialogue, are they looking at the fact that we have so many crises in Cameroon which has not been resolved? For example, we have the Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest region. You have the Boko Haram insurgency also in the northwest and southwest region. You have some intertribal conflict which are existing. You have a lot of issues, the land issue plaguing. Like a recent example now is the issue of Miami, where you see the issue of Miami, where the people of Miami are saying that they have a chief imposed by the senior divisional officer, and so all of these issues now are the bishops.
Cameroon is our country. We have no other country better than Cameroon. We have to remain here and salvage it together through dialogue and discussion. So the bishops were correct, through dialogue and discussion. Now, look at the Anglophone crisis from 2016 up to 2025. It's almost 9 years today. Nothing has been resolved completely.
Something has been done, not effectively.
Let me tell you,
nothing is like.
Let me say, nothing has been resolved
concretely.
No, you can say that at least the military has exercised they have used their prowess to maintain some law and order, restore hope to
But
the
actually, when you say nothing has been done, the government will argue that they give special status. The government will argue that there is now regional assembly. The government will argue that there's disarmament and demobilization. The government will argue that there's reconstruction.
Let me tell you, you have raised the issues. I'm coming to that. The special status, is it for the Anglophone region or for the whole country? Was it created only for the Anglophone region or for the whole country? Because were they given the special status? Have they been given the special status? It's doubtful. It's doubtful. It's not given. The special status has not been given. It's just empty verbosity that something has been done like that, but it's end there. No applicability. And there's no applicability. Nothing.
But we have the regional
we have the regional council. I agree. The government has created a regional council, but it is.
Until we have independent consulators.
Let me come in now. The government has given an independent a regional council. Is it exercising its function as regional council? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? They have limitations. They have limitation. They don't cross any boundaries when they are supposed to talk on those issues. But they have been banned not to talk on those issues, like education, like health, like judiciary. They have banned them not to talk on those issues. Why?
Why? They have not banned them, eh? I'm not.
I said they have. They don't cross the red line.
Meaning that I've not been given the competence to talk about them.
Man,
they have been talking about this issue.
I said that given the red line, the only talk ends there. It has no anything. The red lines have been drawn to them. They've given the red line. You are talking about
but when you say
talking about conciliator.
No, when you say they have been banned.
No,
I want us, because Cameroonians should have this clear.
Yes.
When you say they have been banned, they have not been banned.
Okay.
Yeah,
they have no
go.
That's no go area. That's the red line. They have no go. That's a no go area for them to talk.
No, they have been talking about them in their meetings now. What are you talking about? We have been in their assembly with their discussion. The first preliminary session that some of them had, they talk about some of the issues plaguing their region. They talk about the judiciary. They talk about the assembly. They talk about all those things.
Some people have. Let me tell you. Some people have been warned. Some people have been warned in the council not to run their mouth carelessly. If you don't allow to call person in here. That we want not to talk carelessly in the regional council. You're talking about independent reconciliation. That's a redundant position. Completely redundant. functionless. What is the constitution doing? All those who have been appointed for no assignment, what have they done? What have they done?
We have seen them moving around, consulting with people like the the independent consultant in Bamenda has been moving around,
Look,
actually explaining his role
Look, you see, look,
to the people.
The country is good at providing good decisions, but when it comes to applicability,
Yes, your point now should be on the applicability, not like they are not discussing.
You see, the government is good in giving out good suggestions, but when it comes to applicability, that's where the stumbling block comes in now. You don't have, you are blocked. You are completely blocked. So what you are talking is that about see, let me tell you something. The national dialogue, everything was just cooked up before even they came to the floor of the national dialogue. When Fundi stood up to speak, people were hushing at him. When Cardinal Tumi wanted to speak, people were hushing at him. Yeah, to me, So I'm telling you is that, you see, if we want to go on dialogue and discussion, let the stakes be put on the table. No, objectively. Open-minded. Let's discuss it like brothers and brothers. Let's not be subjective and parochial. We're talking someone, we're hiding someone. No. That's not dialogue and discussion. Let's put the stakes on the table. No matter how contentious they are, let's discuss them. So that we know the truth, so that we go to the right direction. So not that you come to a table and already before you come, you have already taken your decision, you have planned everything, and you only come and present it, they make noise, it's over, say national dialogue is over. No, it's not, that's not national dialogue. We have to put all the stakes, contentious issues on the table, fear of anything, let's discuss it. Clear and clear. So I think what you are saying is that about what the dialogue and look at the issue of Boko Haram in the north. See how they have been killing our soldiers at Wulgo. They killed the understand even did about 4 days ago they killed another people again. And that's very Wulgo. Boko Haram, they even destroyed some of the mortars given to us by Israel. They have destroyed it. So you see, look at the Salaka and Balaka issue in Central African Republic.
That's the inclusion of the Salaka Balaka in the East region.
In the East region. So you see, these are things that we have to come together, that discuss it objectively, frankly. No fear of anything. Let the truth be set on the table. You see this Anglophone crisis, if we went for the truth, this will have ended since long. We are not talking of separation. We are not talking of division. We are not talking of factionalization. What we are talking, let's put the stakes on the table and analyze it. Let's look at tribalism. Let's look at discrimination against Anglophones. Let's look all those things and discuss them. That will instill more confidence in us to trust what is happening. Okay. But the thing is not like that. Everything has been so covered. It's just interest. Everything is just interest. If you don't have all the interest, talk all the interest. And that's where we're having the problem. We are thanking the government. The government has done its own part, but at least like in Kumba today, we are happy that at least the president of the military has restored some peace, some confidence, some serenity in Kumba. The town has come back alive again. Every movement is going, circulation is going. We don't have any problem. We thank the government for that. That's a positive step taken by the government. The military have done their best. They have done their best. But again, at the same time, again, some of the contentious issues are still there. We have to discuss it. No way. If we want to restore total peace, it has to be restored. The Boko Haram issue, we have to bring our neighbors. Chad, Nigeria has to come in to see that they discuss this issue objectively. How to contain these jihadis. Called
the multinational tax force.
The way is the Boko Haram coming killing people like this? If they're there.
Okay, your issue briefly, we shall move to the second topic. The issue about the bishop talked about the issue of dialogue.
Yes.
Is it that they are fed up with the current situation in which is ongoing, the Anglophone crisis, the Boko Haram insurgency, and also we have some tribal conflicts within some areas, the Fulani herdsmen crisis, like in Womb. There is also the issue of the Fulani herdsmen in Womb that recently occurred last week or so. You will also move to the people of the Bangola, all these other issues. The bishops, are they really tired about the ongoing situation?
Thank you. The issue of the bishops talking about dialogue and the capacity to listen is coming from what we've seen. Let me take an example. The Secretary of State, Secretary General in the Presidency, Minister of State, Secretary General in the Presidency, went to the final. Did he listen to the people? He didn't. That's why we saw many people in the far north scrambling, elected officials struggling, begging to see the representative of the head of state.
Finally, he did.
He did. You are doing something under pressure. Please, we should learn to understand.
Finally,
And that is why you are now getting back. You are now highlighting the shortcoming of decentralization. Did the governor, did the SDO beg to talk with him? They didn't. They did not beg to talk with him. But why should elected officials, the regional president or the regional council president, mayors, city mayors, and every other elected person beg to talk with the representative of the head of state? That was the head of state, Nchupichem person. Somebody who represents the head of state, head of state. We saw him give. Please, let me. That's why elected parliamentarians were there.
Why are they waiting?
Good, and that's why. Okay. Now, why was he going there? That is the question. That's why when the bishop talks about it, they have summed up everything. Remember, we have 25 dioceses in Cameroon. 25 dioceses, which means that the bishops, they stand the better chance to tell some of these politicians who sit in Yaoundé the truth, the local realities of Cameroonians where they live, because the bishop, the clergyman stands the position who receives Christians every day. Let me say a civil administration can sit there maybe once or two. He doesn't have somebody to receive.
Like the Bishop of Biya is on a regular back-to-back tour in his diocese.
Thank you. But how does the governor does that? No. Does the SDO of Akeba does that? He doesn't. Which means that the bishops are the people who deal with Christians every day. I'm a Catholic Christian. I go to church every day. I go to church almost every day of the week. You understand? I'm not the only one. Catholic Christians will attest to that. Many other Christians will attest to that. And that's why we see churches around booming. Because people go to church every day. Which means that men of God, if they are talking about that, they have discovered the vacuum created by the state, created by the government. That they don't listen to the population, the militant, the citizens. And that's why they are encouraging. One thing I like about the bishops outing is that they are telling the government in good faith, in moral obligation, that this is what you people are doing, or this is what you people have not done, and if you do it this way, this is actually the type of results you are going to get. You are going to have a prosperous economy, a functional system. The living together the government talked about is a scam. It's a scam. And that's why, in one of the points the bishop talked about, you don't encourage Cameroonians have always been living in peace. The problem with Cameroonians is that they don't eat together. The national cake has not been shared together. We don't have a problem of living together. We do not have a problem. We are here in Douala. Do we have a problem? Do you have a problem living with Francophones? We do not. But the problem with Cameroon, and that's why the bishop will come out talking about the capability to listen, to engage in dialogue, which means that, like we are in a panel here, you talk, I listen. When I talk, you listen. That is what the bishop. And at the end of the day, what do? We take forth as we are telling Cameroonians to go for what is right. When we talk, I listen. When you talk, I listen. When I talk, I listen. At the end of the day, we are going to arrive at a particular conclusion, which is going to be available, favorable for everybody. In majority might not take it, but let the majority. I mean, some people may not take it, but let the majority adhere. Like we are going to, all of us, we agree that talking and sharing, talking necessitates listening. I'm talking, you listen. When you are talking, I listen. Right? I think we are clear on that. And that's why the bishops, in their outing, they have spoken a lot of things. And I'm encouraging Cameroonians and churchgoers, please read the bishops' writing. Take it, don't take it like the Bible. Don't take it as Bible. Take it as somebody who's coming from a moral authority.
Okay.
You can take that, please. And we are going to work on that.
Thank you. Let me come to you, Mr. Ezia. The bishop talked about the heavy mobilization of people to vote for the election. Are you happy with the level at which the masses are getting ready to register? The Catholic Church alone has 60%. Yes. So if 60% of Catholic Christians can actually, at least 40 can actually register, it will be a booster.
Mr. Javis, you see, the only solution to a true democracy is when we actively participate in elections. And when there is too much political apathy, like most Cameroonians are having, you will come to situations that the results will be what we have. Now, if the bishops are saying that we should actually register for this 2025 election because they know the population they carry, and therefore it becomes the duty of Christians to get themselves registered. I was coming to the studio today, and the bike man that carried me was asking, whom am I going to vote for? Because the same results will be 2025. Therefore, you see that it is not because people don't want to register, but people already understand the political landscape of the country. What is the political landscape of the country? Do we really have an independent electoral commission? Because if there is an independent electoral commission, people will have that zeal that no, we are going to vote because they know the result will not be tampered with. It is not news for me and you, Javis, here that when my brother of the SDF was saying here, they have tried. They have tried. They know the political landscape of Cameroon. When I heard somebody coming up with another new thing, I said, these are the people I have termed them in Cameroon political distractors because they distract the public. We know things that are supposed to be done in this country. And if the bishops have come out and they are telling their Christians that shine your eyes, because what they are saying, they are asking us to shine our eyes and participate in the election, because there is no way we can change this country without taking part in the elections. I have said here, Javis, if you look at the church, the politics in church is mature politics. The bishops, they have the ability, they train them on how to dialogue with people. They train them on how to listen to people. That's why they listen to confessions. And therefore, you see, it's a political mature institution that they are saying that if you follow this model, like you were talking of the pastoral engagement of Bishop Bibi.
Yeah.
But that is how...
Sometimes I get to ask myself, where does he get the energy? Because Bishop Bibi is everywhere.
That is his pastoral. It is pastoral. It becomes part and parcel of his mission. And therefore, our leaders of Cameroon are supposed to be like that because they are also our pastors. If you have a leader that sits only in one place, how effective would the regions be? But had it been, there are leaders that can call those who are governors. Maybe they can come in an impromptu visit like this to check and see how the regions are moving. Things will be different. So, Mr. Javis, if bishops are telling us to register, please, Cameroonians, this number that somebody gave here, whether it's 8 million, I feel is still very small. Together we stand, and divided we fall. It should be a joint effort. If we need a change in this country, please let's get ourselves registered and vote for 2025.
Very brief, so I move to political term. Very briefly, you talked about the fact that the independency of the Electoral is troubling, the fact that it is not independent. But do we want angels to actually come down from heaven and control our election? Because everywhere in the world, the election body is appointed by the incumbent. In Kenya, IECBC officials are appointed by the government. In Nigeria, INEC chairman, the Independent National Election Commission, appointed by the president. In Senegal and everywhere, they are appointed by the president. Why do we expect Cameroon to come from heaven?
You have said that I should be very brief. I have said it is political immaturity in Africa. That's why we have many political parties.
Even outside Africa, look
out of Africa,
America.
In how many political parties do they have?
They have so many. I'm looking at the election body. The election body managing the election.
A body that is appointed by the state, correct? But the way they function, they function in such a way that the president does not have a say in what is supposed to take place. Look at the elections in Cameroon that were questioned. What was the statement of the person of the Constitutional Council?
Yeah, but irresolute means they did not bring in
No. It means that there are certain places that, like my brother has said,
briefly,
let me just like he has said there are certain places that they have red lines that they cannot cross.
No,
Please, let me add something.
no, it's It's There's no time. It's Kotem. You will still, you say, just you say, Kotem. Let's look at this issue about the question of the rule of law and freedom of expression.
Yeah, Mr. Tah Mai, thank you. That's a very good one. Excuse me. That's why the bishops, they have actually seen a lot of problems in Cameroon, and one of these problems is being mirrored on this respect of the rule of law. And respect of rule of law also means mutual respect. Sometimes it becomes very troubling to see how other Cameroonians try as much as possible to condemn other Cameroonians who are doing very well to make sure that the Cameroon moves forward. But that's why I still applaud. That is still part of the respect of the rule of law. It's part of democracy. And at the level of MP3, we do value everybody's opinion and we keep pushing forward. It's unity we want. So when the bishops talked about the respect of the rule of law, because they've understood that everything roams around the rule of law, and when the rule of law is not being respected, that is where the other problem starts stemming from. I think my brother here did mention of Article 66 of the Cameroon Constitution, which has never been respected, and if that article was respected, we understood that so many things would have come into place. And another issue is that of the separation of power, which is still part of the respect of the rule of law, you know. The state has its different organs and the government has its own. So the different arms of the state, which we know, the judiciary, the legislative, the executive, which are supposed to be separate, act in separate, independently, or if you want to say, but to an extent, they need to also collaborate to be able to push forward the agenda that which they have to push forward. So, but in the case of Cameroon, most of this is not being respected. And if we look at the respect of the rule of law, the MP3 has been able to see how we can try to solve this problem when we will be given that opportunity, because we believe that one comes from the fact that the President of the Republic and the Minister of Justice are still members of the Supreme the Higher Judicial Council, and the MP3 in its key 5 out of the 12 key points talks about removing the President of the Republic and the Minister of Justice from the Higher Judicial Council. When that is being done, you realize that things like irreserve will be difficult to be understood. When that is being done, you see that things, even the authority of the Supreme Court judge will remain the authority of the Supreme Court judge. The authority of the presidential Constitutional Council judge, the president, will remain the authority, because at that level they will not be able to be influenced. Neither the Minister of Justice will be able to influence. And going forward with the respect of the rule of law, the MP3 has also provided in a situation where each Cameroonian, beside, we're going to create a law school in Cameroon where lawyers will be trained in Cameroon, and each Cameroonian will be able to entitle to lawyer free in any case, which means if you are being detained in any cell, you'll be able to have a lawyer free from the state. And we also look at the transformation of the prison. You know what is happening in Burkina Faso today, where President Ibrahim Traoré talks about is transforming prison, making prison reforms. The MP3 has also thought about that. And if you look at the key 5 in his paragraph 3, we did talk about transformation, and that was before that policy was being put. Yes, because if you look at when our 12 key points came out, that was before that policy of transformation of prisons in Burkina Faso came in place. We actually thought about that, and we said each prisoner will not be able to remain in the prison cells, but they'll have to do some work that will be able to contribute to the economy of the country. And most often we're talking about agricultural products, because we believe in the development of the country from its backbone, food policy from agriculture. And that will also go to solve a long problem, because a lot of monies are being embezzled from corruption. Barely you hear those people are being thrown into prison, and that money is not being invested back to the state coffers. For example, yesterday, I think if not yesterday, we on other sister channels we've been able to hear one former Cameroonian minister who has been sentenced to, I think we said 30 years in prison. And yes, we say he has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. I said he embezzled, I think it was, if it's not erroneous, about 200 billion is 120 billion. They have not told us how they are going to recover that 200 billion back.
But they're telling us that he will go to prison. How does that help Cameroonian? How does he staying in prison Cameroon? Is that not going to encourage more people to steal? That is why the MP3 is looking at how to resolve this more. And MP3 went forward to say that in paragraph 4 in that same justice, they are going to create a new autonomous organ that will be able to manage corruption. Okay. That will make it in such a way that only you realize that only from that separation of the presidency, the president and the Minister of Justice from the highest judicial council will go a long way to solve a lot of problems. So the bishops, when you have said, reflects Cameroonians, reflects the solutions to a Cameroonian problem, and it's a mirror reflection of the 12 keys of the MP3 to unleash the potentials of Cameroon. That's why we're urging Cameroonians, please go to the website of MP3, get the 12 keys and read. From there we are moving forward, and we'll keep moving forward. Thank you.
We're out of time. Move to the other one, is the succession and stability. As far as that is concerned, the President Paul Biya in a recent tweet noted that succession is not a project. Our past, present and future sing the chorus of unity and call on us to permanently strengthen our national community. Personally, when you look at or you listen to these words echoed by President Paul Biya, where he says succession is not a project. Our past, present and future sing the chorus of unity and call on us to permanently strengthen our national community. Is President Paul Biya launching his campaign already, or is he looking at the fact that Cameroonians are getting too much disunited and re-echoing the message of unity?
Well, let me tell you something. President Biya, in his several of his speeches to the nation, he has talked about national unity, national integration, peaceful coexistence, and living together. He has reiterated that several times in his speeches to the nation. Now he's coming to talk about succession. No. When it comes to succession, somebody is there to
There is not a project.
Succession is. Then why are we a democratic country?
We should look at the unity.
Then why are we a democratic country if there's no succession?
No, he's not saying there's no succession. He said it's not a project.
Like people are putting in, it's like a big project. It's a big project. It's a big project because we need success. We need somebody to succeed the president. We need somebody to succeed the president democratically.
Yeah, but he said it should not be like people feel like it's a project. Like
because he has stayed too long in office, I don't want to go. Because he has stayed too long in the office. He wrote the constitution, gave himself 7 years.
Why you say he wrote the constitution?
Well,
how did he give himself?
He appointed the man who appointed the constitution.
How did he give himself?
Let me tell you, he appointed the man who wrote the constitution. He gave.
Airport walked away of blessed memory.
Yeah. Airport walked away.
Articles.
Yeah, you see. So there was no sincerity.
It's the parliament that gave him the 7 years. It's not him. It's the parliament. The issue is we want Cameroonians to, they should not get us wrong like that. It's a parliament that actually.
Legally, we should be able to put some facts straight. Well, I did not want to intervene in that, but I want to say that there are some things, that is why we should take the bull by the horn. Yes. There are some things that when it is the way they are, we should say the way they are. In 2008, when the Constitution was amended, a provision of the Constitution was amended to renew the unlimited mandate of the presidency of the, well, if you say unlimited, okay, but to renew and change that provision, it was the place of Cameroonian parliamentarians to stand forward, because today we keep crying, saying that Cameroonians are this, Cameroonians are that, but we need to face the facts straight the way they are. If you have 140 parliamentarians who are of CPDM, Cameroonians should work so hard using all the mechanisms. Let's put our efforts together to gain those parliamentarians. There are young parliamentarians who are doing that. It's our generation. Mr. Tah Mai, I'm talking about my generation. I'm not talking about the generation of my father sitting over there, or my elder brother sitting over there. They have that guides to guide us. That's why I like what he's saying. But I want to also blend it with my own generational way we see how things are supposed to go. I will not call name, but there are young people in the parliament today who are doing what we did not see before, or we saw some people like the Nchupichem. I still like to call Nchupichem in his 90s.
we are seeing other young people, and they're going to see us today. Instead of these parliamentarians to say, we don't want this anymore, rather than you going to beg and pick from the crumbs and to say that tomorrow for us to say that no, Mr. Biya alone. No, you have to carry the responsibility as well.
The are the ones who actually.
Are the ones.
It's not Mr. Biya.
It's not Mr. Biya.
They actually said no.
Like Josiah Paul said, we would have not been at this place.
Walked away.
Let me ask you guys: did this man not sign this into law?
Well, according
Before it comes, according to the constitution.
The constitution of the parliament.
No, it's not a parliament. This is the constitution of the Cameroon Republic.
Excuse me. I'm not talking about the constitution. I'm talking of the representation of people in the parliament. That's what I'm saying. If you come to the parliament, we have about 80% of the parliament that is made up of the ruling party, and therefore meaning that let me now with my analysis. Meaning that if a decision is supposed to be passed, they have an edge over all the decisions. And therefore, excuse me.
I was not of your age of the 1990. You know the 1990 better than me. But
I am saying that if this proposal is made by their leader and they have 80% in the parliament, do you think that proposal can be stepped?
No way.
We're out of time. Justice Ayapo of blessed memory was a member of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement.
Yes.
He walked away.
Yes.
And nobody killed him because he came back and campaigned for presidential elections.
Yes.
He walked away.
Yes.
They had options. In the United States of America, President Donald Trump has instituted tariffs, but members of senators of the Republican Party, about 5 voted against the tariff.
That's correct. That's correct.
In Nigeria,
yes,
it has happened. In Kenya, it has happened.
Yes.
Don't blame President Paul Biya.
If you have your uncle who is a parliamentarian and you are hiding them, blame them.
Members, they say CP Justice Ayapo was an example that he walked away. Why should we?
Why should we? Because we are afraid to say that our brothers and sisters are mayors and we don't want to call their names. They have their responsibility. Hold them.
I think that issue is going to be, we're going to take it to court because the general court will have to judge. But let's talk about the last point that we're talking about today, of what do we expect of the president. He brought out in a tweet, we know President Biya, he likes posting his things when elections are coming. He likes putting people, he likes sending, he called out the Android generation, and that's why he likes to overtake crucial things and send to them. Remember in 2018 he announced his candidacy on Twitter. This time around he's coming up to talk about unity and cohesion. But I would like to say something. Cameroonians should go for a president. President Biya knows nobody hates President Biya. It is we hate the people around him. We don't like the ideology of the people around him. Nobody hates, no Cameroonian in his right sense hates President Biya. I hate him. And that is why, let me bring something, an example, please. In 2018, the CPDM fabric did not carry the CPDM flag. And that's why, to tell that Cameroonian, Biya himself is not the CPDM. That's the point. Go and look at it. At that aside, when you go far, you will look at it very well. To tell you that, and that's why he's talking about succession. Please, Cameroonians should not be having in mind that he has promised to keep his democracy. He's the father of modern democracy because he reintroduced democracy in the 1990s, and that's why he has kept to it. He doesn't want people to say that I have programmed this person to replace me. No, Cameroonian, when the time comes, power, as Machiavelli says it, when you acquire power, do everything to keep it at most the way you can do, and that's what Biya have been doing. It's a principle of leadership. So in this case, I am going to promise to tell Cameroonians, please, I'm going to encourage all of us. Let's go for a president. Biya's time is already going. He knows that his time is already. Forget about people calling motion of support and so on and so forth. It is time. He himself, he knows that he has done everything for Cameroon, and it's time for him to step aside. He knows that. Forget about people forcing motion of support to him. Isn't CPDM? Many people are saying that this and that. No, I don't believe in that. I believe that it's cooked up stories, but not the will of the person involved. And that's why I'll encourage Cameroonians to actually go. This is the time. We shouldn't look at political parties.
We're out of time.
First,
we're out of time.
Yes, first, register, and secondly, let's go for somebody who will be able to move around. Let's go for a present president, somebody who will present to our daily lives, our economic policies, our security, our everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Isaiah. Briefly.
Thank you also very much, Mr. Javis. It was a pleasure being part of the program. I want to salute all those who are watching far and near.
Okay, thank you very much, Prince Kota.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tah Mai. Thank you to all the patriots of the MP3 movement. Thank you to all the televiewers of my major prime, particularly to Majesty Fonkima, Majesty Petfela, Dr. Dopol, and all the Balikumbula people out there. We love you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming past today from
the
town of Kumba.
It's a pleasure that I'm here today. For some time I've not been here, so I think I enjoyed the program and it was wonderful, outstanding, and remarkable. So, Mr. Javis, thank you very much.
Thank you very much also for coming, Emmanuel.
Thank you, and I'm extending my greetings to all the fans of Noni who are out there watching the program. Thank you, dear colleagues, and hoping to see you at that time. Stay blessed. Everybody, register yourself on Electoral because 2025 is our year.
And of course, happy Sunday to you, Mr. Nyam Robert and the wife Dwan in the United States of America, the entire children, Micah, Maria, Kelly. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to you too, Papa J in DC. Happy Sunday to you. All those of you who actually sent us your messages, happy Sunday to you. And also, this program comes up every Sunday at exactly 12 to 1:30. If you want to be a member of the panel, you want to participate in the discussion, on the discussion here, the number is on your screen, 676431384. You leave me a message, I'll put you into the group. When we have a topic that is of your interest, you indicate and come and speak, as long as you take full responsibility over your action. A lot of you have been saying this person is not saying this, person is not saying this person is not saying this. Come and say whatever you think that can objectively move the nation forward in a Republican spirit and in a Republican value, with the respect of peaceful cohesion that we share among us until we meet again. No matter the matter, what matters is your matter, and what should matter for you is that you should stay out of trouble. My name is Tah Mai Javis, Cameroon's commercial capital, Fengu Jombange. Bye-bye.